So this Memorial Day weekend coming right up on us, national gas prices are projected to average out at about $3.08 a gallon. When adjusted for inflation, that makes for the second lowest gas price for Memorial Day since 2003.
But will that be the case here in the Valley? Let's talk to Patrick De Haan, the head of Petroleum Analysis at Gas Buddy. Patrick, always appreciate your insight. I just looked it up, and the Phoenix Metro's average is about 60 cents higher per gallon than the national average. Does America just hate us, Patrick, or what's going on here?
Well, I would say more like it's California does not like refining gasoline, and really it's their refining issues that have plagued us for the last several weeks. As you mentioned, Phoenix $3.62 a gallon. The statewide average this morning, $3.38. The difference, while Phoenix uses a cleaner version of gasoline, especially with the population boom, it keeps the air cleaner in the summer, but there is an additional cost. All of that to say, though, while gas prices have been going up in the last couple of weeks in Arizona because those refinery issues in California, the good news is we're still spending a lot less than last year. Phoenix down 38 cents from last year. The statewide average down 51 cents from last year. Collectively, Americans spending about $175 million less on gasoline every day compared to last year.
Now, Patrick, are there any issues that you see on the horizon that could cause our prices to spike even higher or even drop over the summer travel season? God forbid we get a break.
Yeah, it's going to be a bumpy ride, and a lot of the reason for that is that February refinery fire that occurred in Northern California. That refinery was in the process of restarting a couple of weeks ago when it suffered another fire, and that is what caused prices to go up. But the good news is gasoline is coming now to the West Coast. It's taken a couple of weeks to come all the way from Asia. Those resupplies will, in the short term, I think, as we get into the month of June, probably offer a little bit of a break. Prices should start to roll back. But any new issues at any refinery along the West Coast are going to be speed bumps later this summer. And we still could, briefly, in a worst-case scenario, we still could see a $4 a gallon average because of some of these issues. It's just really unpredictable.
We're talking with Patrick De Haan, the head of Petroleum Analysis at Gas Buddy, initially talking about, how gas prices nationwide are going to be the lowest for a Memorial Day weekend, the second lowest anyway since 2003, but not exactly the case here. I'm always amazed when I travel to my hometown in northern Arizona. Prices are cheaper there, but of course that's because of our special blend here in the Valley with the big population that we have. But of course it's always cheaper in Tucson as well because they've got their petroleum coming over from Texas. We get it from California. Is there any talk, Patrick, of building more refineries, or is that just something that America's just leaving behind?
Well, it's kind of interesting. President Trump making a trip to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia actually owns one of the largest refineries in the United States. It used to be partly owned by Shell and the Saudis. It's a Motiva refinery in Texas. There's not really been talk about a whole lot of new refineries, but Saudi Arabia essentially promised $3 billion investing in refineries here in the States. Now, those refineries are going to be in Texas, generally speaking, that they want to invest in. Texas is well positioned near crude oil. They're also near, obviously, the Gulf of Mexico to export product. Now, there has been talk. Kinder Morgan is a big pipeline operator in Arizona. They've been talking about expanding or boosting the capacity at pipelines in Arizona. Part of that is because the population boom. The other difficulty there is, to your point, if there's no refineries in California that are feeding into those pipelines, where's the gasoline going to come from? And that's the problem. And that's TBD yet. There's not a whole lot of new information on refinery expansions. And the difficulty there is that, like you said, Tucson gets a lot of its gasoline from Texas. Phoenix gets a lot of gasoline from California. So you couldn't talk about a more stark difference where this gasoline is coming from. Refineries in California have been shutting down in recent years.
Well, and they are not going to allow them to build either. Patrick De Haan, the head of Petroleum Analysis at Gas Buddy, when you take a look at California and its attitude toward gasoline, it is a very different situation than the one here, and they are not going to allow more refineries to be built. It's not going to happen.
Except, are there enough people mad at Elon Musk there that they might consider reversing that? I don't know.
Even that rage is not going to make them do anything that's going to make our gas cheaper. No.
Okay.
Thanks for watching Arizona's Morning News. Click to watch more from KTAR News and hit the button in the middle to subscribe.